Beside me I have a Napoleon wood stove. The chimney that it's attached to in the house is an inside chimney. It's a warm chimney, so it's going to draft better, and so that's going to affect how well our fire can start. So it's just something to be aware of. If you have an outside chimney, that could be a factor in how well your stove might start. When you begin to start your fires, you always want to make sure that the damper is wide open. I take 2 full-size pieces of wood and I put them in this way. You can do it any way, but what I'm after here is to start by putting a cradle here. And I'm going to fill that cradle with some paper, very highly combustible. And then I'm going to put some cardboard that's not so highly combustible on top of that. And then I'm going to take some kindling. It's very important that you guys get small pieces of wood, and I lay them on top of the paper in a crisscross pattern, because once the fire begins, it needs to burn up and around these pieces of wood. What we need to establish is draft. Draft is what happens in the chimney once the fire starts. If draft is not established, this stove will not draw air, the combustion process will not begin. So the damper's open. I'm going to leave the door slightly ajar. So we have to get the stove warmed up a little bit, and then that'll create better draft, which creates better draw. And then these smaller pieces of wood will create coals, and those coals will then generate enough energy to ignite a larger piece of wood. You don't want to add any larger pieces of wood than let's say your finger is the smallest which you want to put in, which is what we have done now. And then the next largest piece of wood would be something that's about 2 fingers. And then as the fire progresses, you add something that's more like 3 fingers. And then that way the fire builds and you can have a sustained fire. It takes me about 30 minutes to get a cold stove going to the place where I can walk away from it. So let's go ahead and add this piece. Always try to crisscross it so that the air can get around it, the flames can get around it, and then that way it can create more heat faster. So you can see we have a good fire. I'd like to show you what happens when we close the door completely. It's running well. Push the damper all the way in. You'll see the fire diminish significantly. This is the place you'd want to run your stove in an all-night slow burn position. This will help you get the most BTUs out of the logs, the wood that you're burning. So I hope that's helped you. Appreciate you joining us, and hope you have a great day.